Hi everyone, Peter
Hi.
Lisiagi here, along with my daughter, and it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone! Right now, 11:30, 11:31 actually. Just thought come live. I wanted to share basically the three big problems that kids are that are facing now and going into the future that I believe it's a little more challenging because these are unprecedented times, and you've never been through a pandemic.
Mm-mm.
I've never been through a pandemic, and so we've read about it in the history books. Right? What pandemic do you recall?
Um,
That you remember from school? Yeah, yeah, I know. Me neither. I mean, me neither. you
they
know,
exist. We
yeah,
just don't
no,
know.
no, not at all. But I know one thing for certain, guys. One thing for certain, which is what I have. I have my notes. I wrote down, okay, what I want to talk to you guys about. I have it in my journal here, and it's one page that I squeezed everything. It probably took a lot of pages, and the skills have changed. Our skill sets have changed. The moment we went into this pandemic, I right away had to figure out what am I going to do. I have a lot of skill sets, but what was the skill sets that I needed to move forward? And when this happened, when we went into this, what was your thought? I mean, everyone's in a different spot. Everyone had different thoughts. Everyone has their experience. Because I know one day we're gonna talk to maybe your
Mm-hmm.
children, my grandchildren, maybe your grandchildren, and you're gonna say, once upon a time, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I was. This is what I did, and this is how it came out. And today we are doing what we're doing because that is part of that.
Yeah.
Do you remember your
Um,
first thought?
I don't know because I didn't really know what was gonna happen. So
What was going to happen, right?
yeah. So I think I was just like wondering if it would be as bad as some people thought,
Yeah,
or if it really was nothing, or yeah. I don't
that was
know.
pretty much the sentiment. I think
Yeah,
it's
because
pretty much the
nobody really
sentiment also with
knew
with the leaders. They were
like
all
what to believe.
yeah, they didn't know what to believe. They didn't know how serious it was because it's
Yeah.
really we've never experienced this. That's what they're calling it unprecedented times. And so, but one thing that I learned right away, the skills sets that I had at that moment when we went into this, needed to change. I needed to right away start thinking differently and looking for other skill sets, like what I knew of videos and going live online with Zoom and everything like that. I knew of Zoom, but I didn't know Zoom. Did you know Zoom
No.
before? You're like an expert now.
Yeah, I did
it
not
was
know
it was
existed
funny. We
though.
were on Zoom the other day,
Hmm.
and it's funny because we lost our internet
Yeah,
at the
internet
with the
connection.
home with the I think the storm, and
Hmm.
then right away we repositioned and went through our data, and we went and we did it through this. It was almost like didn't even
Yeah.
skip a beat. I think it was like a 2 minutes we were down and we went. And prior to this experience, I didn't know what to do. And I remember the first time that happened, I right away adapted, improvised, and used my imagination and made it happen, made it work.
Yeah.
So skill sets. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so it's funny. So things that I didn't do before that I'm doing now, like, I didn't have a space, right? Remember that? It
Yeah.
took me the whole day to build this space out. I said, where am I going to teach? We're not teaching it at the school. And the reason why we didn't teach at the school because we didn't have the Wi-Fi connection at the school. We went all these years without it, so our school was not prepared with the Wi-Fi and the internet connection. We had internet connection, but it was so weak. And
Yeah.
it was just enough for us to go online and make sure we check the accounts online and do some Facebook stuff. But the infrastructure, like the technology, wasn't set up in a school because we've been in Mount Laurel for over 25 years,
Hmm.
and so we were serving the community in a very powerful way, and not needed any of the things that we're using right now. So it's
Yeah.
a lot. All of us had to learn. We had to learn how to schedule, how to do
Hmm.
one-on-ones. We had to learn how, right?
Yeah.
How many one-on-ones do you typically do in a week?
Um, I don't know. I do like 4 or 5 a day, so
4 or 5
that's
a day,
like
yeah.
I
And
don't know how
plus
many
the
days.
classes. I know we've
Hmm.
done over 800 classes, 800
Yeah.
virtual, in-person, one-on-one classes since March 18th when we closed our doors for in-person classes,
Yeah.
and so we have to learn how to do all that. We have to learn how to teach our curriculum virtually. We couldn't do anything on the ground. We couldn't grab each other. There was no one to grab. Really, I could grab her, but they didn't have people that were
Right.
watching. So even yesterday, right? We were working on headlocks. So we said, how do we teach that? So the things that we had to learn to do, and so it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be part of my story. Of course, there's going to be more to it because we're going to see how this turns out. And we're going to talk a little bit about my ideas, our ideas of how we move forward on this. But that once upon a time will come where we will tell our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, says, once upon a time, this is how I lived through this pandemic. Hopefully it's the last one in my lifetime, in a few lifetimes. And yeah. And so anyway, let's talk about the three big problems I think kids are going to be facing today and as they move to the future. And number one is I think education, as they education and even college. And let me know if your thoughts on this as well. Education and college. Oh, Mrs. Hernandez. Hi, Mrs. Hernandez. I just noticed it right there, the comments there. Thanks for saying hello. I love it. Okay, so I know right now what I was taught in school, we're talking about a long time ago, what I was taught did not prepare me for this, did not prepare me for the work that I'm doing, without question. There was nothing that I learned in school aside from having good work ethics and being on time, all these things that I learned generally, but specifically like how to run a business, how to adapt, improvise, and overcome, how to use my imagination, how to improvise, how to get to a place where you have no idea what you're doing, but to make something happen and get the results from it and reposition. I didn't learn any of that in school. I see you making faces. So what is with respect to that? What do you add?
I had a lot of really great teachers. So I learned a lot, but at the same time, we didn't learn any of that either. Like
I had a great teacher. Who was your favorite teacher?
Probably in high school, Mr. Arch.
What did you like? You mentioned him a lot. What did you like about Mr. Arch?
He was my poetry and writing teacher, so it was just like an elective class I chose to take. I think my junior year of high school. But I loved like his outlook on life, and I loved how he really didn't care what other people thought. He was the most unique teacher that we had at Lenape where I went, and he didn't care what you believed in. He didn't care what your views on were or anything, but he would just say what he thought, and he would really make you think about things. So even though I had him for like creative writing and poetry, which were classes that were not required, I learned a lot more from him, I think, than I did like in history or anything like that.
What's interesting is, I remember you talking about him all the time, and that's what I liked about him. I loved the fact when you expressed that. Love the fact that he actually motivated you to think on your own. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
regardless
and he would challenge them because he didn't agree with everything students would say, and he was one of the teachers who were not afraid to say that. Like, I disagree with that. So tell me why you think this.
And it's for me, it's almost not an accident that you chose to go full time into work at us.
No, it wasn't. I knew I wasn't going to college.
Yeah, no. Right. Can you share real quickly why? Obviously, you didn't see value in it.
Yeah, no, not for me. I didn't see value in going to college for me because I didn't know what I wanted to do as a career or as a profession. And I had to choose whether I wanted to go to college or not by like the end of junior or senior year. And so when I finally made my decision and I was like, well...
One second, guys. I have a vacuum going on there.
Let's shut the door real quick. It's very loud. That was louder than I thought. I thought it would stop, but it got loud. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we got vacuuming going on in the house. So anyway, you decided not to go. You came into the business full on. And you started learning a lot of key things that they didn't teach you in school, really.
Yeah.
But except I love the fact that they taught you how to think on your own. I love it. And so, so I believe that's one of the big obstacles, one of the big problems kids are going to face is that education really, in a very direct way, is not going to prepare them for, let's say, AI, as far as artificial intelligence, machine learning, the technology and how technology, because we saw how technology took us through this pandemic. If it was not for the technology and our ability to access it and utilize it to serve our students and meet the needs of our students, I don't know what we would do. And there was a lot of learning that had to happen. And I know for me, I've been working with technology for decades, and I remember in the late '80s when I saw the possibilities of computers and cellular phones. Before in the USA, before they had the digital. In Germany they had digital, and I saw the possibilities of that. But it took me a long time to learn. The learning curve for me was incredible. So right now, we're finding a lot of students, a lot of kids. That's a big problem. They're not ready to really to go forward with this, and I know some are. But generally, that's a big problem. And also another thing, I think here I put as number 2, the 3 big things. That was the first big thing. Is I wrote down here, college degree won't be enough. That's what I wrote. A college degree won't be enough. And with again, with the artificial intelligence, with virtual reality, augmented reality, machine learning, which is huge. Machine learning is huge. There's a lot there that's a problem that we have. Me as someone looking for people to help me through this, to hire them, I'm finding that's a challenge. Another problem I find is kids already are behind. Right now, behind because we shut down. The teachers were struggling to figure out what to do. I cannot tell you. And I don't know how your kids' experience was. I know most of the kids that I spoke to expressed frustration. Because a lot of times the teachers knew less than what the kids knew, because the kids were on Instagram, TikTok, on Snapchat, right, and doing all these things on here. But the teachers maybe not, but everything was for social and for fun, but not for education. So that was a big problem. So kids now are behind. And then now when we look into the future, let's say September, we don't know what's going to happen in September. What will education look like in September? Any thoughts on that? Because you've been following that a little bit, enough.
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, I know it was hard for a lot of parents who didn't already homeschool to get their children into a whole different schedule and routine.
I hear parents right now who homeschool.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I homeschool.
So they love it. They of course they feel like some empathy for everybody else, but they're so used to it. They're like, we already know what we're doing. Nothing changed for them.
Yeah,
nothing changed because they already did it online, or the parents are directly their teachers.
It's amazing.
So yeah, that's amazing. But I mean, so that shows that it can be done. And I'm sure that their friends and those they know who have children in public or private schooling systems have been going to them for some tips and everything, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we know a lot of teachers, a lot of our parents are teachers. Some of my friends are teachers. And what they've been saying is but for some of them absolutely love it. And they're doing all they can, with the technology. And they're kind of going above and beyond to keep their kids entertained and everything. And then some, I know it was hard because if they are older, or if they really didn't even have any social accounts or anything before, they had to really do all of that overnight for the next week to start school, because right after that spring break of a couple weeks they started. Mm-hmm. But now schools are all done. School's done. Yeah.
Thank God. A lot of people said thank God it's done.
Or graduated. So yeah.
So they have a bit of a hiatus before they get into that mode of now what is school going to look like, and so so I think that's a problem. That's a big problem. One of the three.
Of accountability for the kids too. I think that's
a lot of accountability, and it also put a lot of parents in a position where the parents, basically everyone was put into homeschooling, and so everyone's behind, I believe, in what the kids need to move forward, because try to just figure out, if I have information here, if I don't know how to take this information and pass on the knowledge, that is a problem, because
unless you're a teacher, you really
unless you're a teacher that understands how to use the technology.
Right.
You can't pass on the knowledge, and that's a problem. And we have a lot of people that's still trying to figure that out. And I know in our industry, martial arts industry, still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
The businesses are trying to figure out, how do I serve my community with the products and services that I have, with the current state of affairs. And then teachers are doing the same thing. And you see that in the sports right now. So that's a problem. Teachers knowing how to transfer the knowledge in a very meaningful way, and then students being in a place, and parents being in a place where so that's a problem. That's one thing I see. Okay, so next thing is everyone's going online now, and the danger of social networks, social media, and like Facebook, where you're getting now, because most of the time, I know families that never would go on Facebook or similar platforms because of the news. They couldn't control what was being put because that's not their platform. They don't own it. And so the news that was there, the narrative that was there, that was a problem. And so, right? I mean, some people didn't want their kids there, but now uh, they have to go online. And so that's a problem. So how do you protect? And another layer of protection there. And we saw that right away with Zoom, with the danger of Zoom, where Zoom had to really position to make sure everything was, there was a stronger security layer in that. And then things that we had to do to make sure that people who came into the class were supposed to be there. And so that social media, it's terrible, the negativity and everything like that, and what they're talking. We got to control that. So it's one thing. And so I know many parents and students are upset, and I get it, the frustration. Do you hear that sometimes from the?
I do. I think less now because it's been a couple months now, so people are starting to understand it.
Yeah.
But I mean, with parents, I think now they're realizing that you kind of have to get out there because a lot of them, their children, if you have a child over the age of 9, they're already on there, whether you know what it is or not. They're already on the internet. So that's a level of protection that you should be already teaching them and already learning yourself, just like protecting them from strangers in the real world. You need to do that online.
We've done, I know everyone's learning a lot fast. And I know what we learned, one of the biggest things we learned at DKC, Denali Karate Center, as the instructors, one thing that I'm really working with my coaches and my mentors is to serve our students, is how to, with all these problems that we see. Now, what I like, I love this. I love the fact if you know what the problem is, then you pretty much, what could be the solution because you know what the problem is. And so I know we know what the problem is. I see that as a problem. So now I come up with a solution. So we have a solution. And the one thing I knew that we did in martial arts was really helped our students with character and really helping them get the right character. Now, what we did was spend most of the time focusing on the martial art, the technical aspect. Right now, I found, speaking to many parents, is the character now. So the life mastery program that we do now, that we've implemented now, is really all about helping our students, our kids, understand the character they need to move forward and to have a certain mindset. And so we've created a new curriculum, a 12-month curriculum that's going to really, in a very purposeful way, help our students through these next basically it's 36 months, but we're focusing on the 12 months first and really focusing on the first 3 months, the 90 days. So we've got a curriculum in place that's designed to solve these problems right now. And what's great is that this curriculum is all online. Everything's online. Everything's going to be virtual, but it's also easy to transition into what we're looking forward to. Like we've opened up our school. We have classes going on inside, albeit it's limited sizes by the numbers, respecting social distancing within the space that we have. We also have classes going on outside, weather permitting, and then we've got classes online. So the curriculum that we have is implemented on no matter where you are. If a student is at home, wants to stay home, we can teach them. That curriculum is designed for them. A student wants to come in for one-on-one, going into our groups, we can accommodate them with this program. But the end of the day is helping the child, the family, to move forward with some key things. So that's what the program is about. So the parents are in the loop. The parents are part of it. And the parents know what's going on. Matter of fact, parents are going to know this is the curriculum, and they're going to be able to assist and help their child, along with the coach. Basically, you'll have a coach, a mentor, someone like me or my daughter or Master McGill, one of our instructors, guiding, directing them. And so that's helping them stay focused on what truly is important. First, finding out what they need, what they want, parents, the families, the kids, what they need right now, what they want, because everyone's unique. So one of the first things we do is meet with you on a one-on-one to find out exactly what do you need, what do you want to accomplish. I know many families that I've met want to make sure that their child, regardless of what it looks like in academics, in school, their child is prepared for whatever what it will be. And so that's what we are focusing on, preparing the student, the child, the parent, the family to move forward into a future. And of course, you can't promise what tomorrow brings, but we know tomorrow will come. That's our plan. So we're planning for that tomorrow with skills that are needed now and tomorrow. And so this program is designed for that. And so we were talking this morning about, you doing the one-on-one. Some students want the one-on-one in virtual, virtual. Some of them want the one-on-one in person. And regardless of how this works, the logistics, we will make it happen. That's the design of the program. And so if you want to find out more about that, just message right below mastery, because we're talking about life mastery. Hang in there, sweetie. I know you're ready to take. You're good, right?
No, I'm always just looking tired now. Yeah. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm like 5 times. I'm not
That's
bored.
Okay. No. Because we're working hard. We're working harder than we've ever.
Yeah.
And he's working harder than we've ever. So anyway, find out more about the program. This is the first thing I want you guys to do. Just right below in the comment section, just type in mastery. You can even message me and type mastery or ask a question. What we're going to do is I'm going to have you just schedule a free one-on-one with me, and I'll tell you more about this program. But this is the answer. The answer is to prepare our kids with the skill sets they need to deal with what's happening today as they move into tomorrow. And so the martial arts has always been about that. But right now we're focusing on this life character skill sets along with the physical technical parts if they're martial arts, because theoretically the idea is you don't even have to do martial arts to do this. You could be a dancer, you could be a gymnast, you could be someone that's a visual artist, a poet, doesn't matter, because these skill sets are applicable to everyone, and everyone needs these skill sets. Integrity, having the ability to know your purpose, to know what direction you're going, have what we call north, and then also have the ability to have confidence to move forward, and then have the ability to use your imagination to improvise, to adapt, to overcome whatever the current present situation is. And so just wanted to share that with you, and we schedule one-on-one. So this is what you do. Just type right below mastery. And then once you type that in, I'll connect with you, and then I'll send you a link so that we can schedule a free one-on-one. Other than that, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love getting input from my daughter because different generation, and her filter is different than mine. She's seeing it differently. Plus, she's working with a lot of our students that are 3, 4, 5-year-olds, and then the parents at times are there. So she's seeing, the dynamics of that. So her insight is just extremely valuable. And plus, she's working also a lot with a lot of young ladies who see her as a great role model, and she's coaching them, as well as the young boys seeing her because she's very nurturing. And so, yeah. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Any last words from you? No. So we've said enough. Boom, boom. All right, guys. You guys have a great day. Again, right below, remember, guys, kids they need the skills they need to move forward from today to going forward. And education is trying to catch up. They're going to get there. I know they will, because they're going to have very smart teachers that implement it. But what we need to get our kids ready now, not later on, hopefully, but now. This program is for that. And also, we want to make sure that everyone's in the loop. So we're talking about a team. So me as a coach or one of our coaches mentoring, I was asked yesterday, who will be directing and guiding and really facilitating this? I will. I will be the one leading this. Okay. And so everyone will meet me first, and then from there, we'll take it from there. So make sure you message me, mastery, comment below, mastery. I'll reach out to you with the link to schedule a time, the one-on-one, a free one-on-one. So what we call a discovery call, where I can discover and uncover what you want. What's your unique situation? You guys take care. Have a great day.